Good morning, Tom, and thank you for joining us today at Business Spotlight Series.
Good morning, Javier.
Today we have Tom Hopkinson, CEO of Taylor Hopkinson. They are a recruitment partner to the world's renewable energy leaders. They have multilingual teams that deliver solutions with the full life cycle of renewable energy projects, building a greener and more sustainable planet. So, Tom, can you please tell us a little bit more of what you do and for how long you've been doing it?
Sure. So I started my career in this industry in 2004, so coming up 20 years. And we basically help clients solve people problems related to building projects. So if you are trying to build a solar farm, an onshore wind farm, an offshore wind farm, a storage facility, or a green hydrogen project, from development to finance to construction to operation and asset management, including equipment manufacturing and sales, then we can help you to find the right people to grow your business. And we do that all over the world. We've got people in offices in 16 locations on every continent. And yeah, our mission is to introduce renewable energy specialists to pioneering projects.
Brilliant. And tell us, when you were growing up, is this something you always wanted to do?
I don't think there's anybody in the recruitment industry who grew up wanting to be in the recruitment industry. I did an English literature degree, and I left university and found an English literature degree is quite limiting in terms of teaching journalism, and I was quite money motivated, and I fell into recruitment at that point, and I really enjoy it. I do really enjoy it.
Wow. So tell us, I mean, you've been, quite an impressive progression. You started and taking the business where it is today. Who is the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
It's a very good question. I think of, well, I saw this question, and are you looking for somebody in the public eye, or could this be somebody I know personally?
No rules here.
Okay. When I think of success, I think of a few people. One of them is a mentor of mine, a chap called Michael Naylor. He was an angel investor in the business in the very early days, along with his partner Daniel Muir, who I also looked up to a huge deal. Sadly, he passed recently. But both of those individuals, they really taught me how to do executive search. They taught me a lot about business. They taught me a lot about how to operate in those circles in investment banking and private equity. And I just really enjoyed learning from them, even down to, what restaurants to eat in, where to get your suits, which at that point in my career, being a boy from the South Wales Valleys, was an education I probably needed. And Michael, we still speak to this day, and he's now investing in some really interesting companies all over the world. And every time I speak to him, I come away with some nugget of knowledge that I didn't have before. So yeah, I really enjoy speaking with him.
So he's a bit like your mentor.
I would say he is. Yeah, he is a mentor to me. Yeah.
Wonderful. And when the company went through the COVID period, what changed? How did it affect the business? What changes did you make to get through COVID?
We were very lucky, I think. In the technology stack that we developed, I had always done it with a view to mobility, because I really put a great deal of value as a recruitment business. People are our business, therefore you should go see as many people as you can, as often as you can. And that was one of our sort of USPs, is that we will always meet every single candidate that we present to a client. So there was a lot of traveling. Therefore, we were very mobile. Everyone had a mobile phone, everyone had a laptop, everything was on the cloud. So when it came to then switching to home working, we were really fortunate in that we could do that pretty seamlessly from one day to the next. I think your question was, what were some of the biggest changes?
Well, how do you have to adapt? But you've kind of answered that because of the mobility side of it. So yes, it didn't affect your business that much.
I think the adaptation was communication, because you've gone from seeing each other on a regular basis. So we had to be a little bit more innovative. So we had weekly calls with everybody in the company where we'd have fun and games and a little bit of social. We called it the Taylor Hopkinson Arms,
Yeah.
which meant we had the roundup, and then people would stay online and have a beer with each other. So to be honest, I think we came out of COVID stronger than we went in. And it's funny, we did a survey just last week on communication within the business, and several people said, "Can we bring back the TH arms?" So yeah, some good things came out of it.
Wonderful. What's your biggest learning since you've been running the business?
The biggest learning for me, I think, is that I think often when people start businesses, they very rarely think of the end, the exit, the finale. And I think when you start to scale a business, it's so much fun and it's energizing, and you get so much from it. And then one day you realize you've got all these people that are reliant on the business for their livelihoods, for their social networks, for their careers. And, with that comes with a level of responsibility, and how you steward the business from there becomes something that's very important to a lot of people. And then working out, okay, so where does it end for me personally, or where does the business end up, becomes something that isn't a decision you make overnight, and B, something that you can implement overnight. So working out the best sort of direction for the business in order for it to sustain into the future was a big learning. And I think if I was to set out on another entrepreneurial venture tomorrow, that would be something I would look at in a bit more detail, probably. But the other thing I've learned as well is that with scale comes pressure, but that's a privilege, and that privilege is that you do have more potential to make a positive impact on people's lives, I think. And for example, since we've joined with Brunel, I've got the Brunel Foundation, which is focused on charitable activities, and we've partnered with them to do offshore wind for kids and onshore wind for kids, which is a not-for-profit organization which takes wind energy into schools, educational settings for kids to learn about the industry, because the research shows the earlier you introduce them to these ideas, the more likely it is they'll end up in our industry. So I've also learned that with scale comes pressure, but also privilege to do good things.
Yeah, I love what you said. The pressure is a privilege. Nice, nice mantra.
It is, and I can't say that's mine. I've pinched that. But you need to, I think you have to believe that, otherwise the pressure would probably get too much. Yeah.
Good. So on that line, what are the aspirations for the business in the next 5 years?
The aspiration is with the Brunel board, we've agreed that we would like to take the renewables business to 250 million turnover, which effectively means we need to double again. And another learning I've learned is that the bigger you get, the harder it is to grow. We would quite easily grow 60 to 70% annually, and now that becomes a bit more difficult when you're 200 people. So yeah, we want to get to 250 million turnover. That's the plan.
Wow, very ambitious target.
Yes.
Yeah. Many businesses, Tom, across all industries are finding it difficult to recruit. What are your thoughts on the current employment market situation?
I think there's two angles that we look at it from, of course, is the renewable energy industry angle. And it's difficult, it's challenging. I think there needs to be a bit of an acceptance that the clients need to be more open to transferable skills. You can't always just pay more money to get the person that's been there and bought the t-shirt, because that creates stagnation and a lack of new blood coming into the industry. So I think what we will see in the next couple of years is more emphasis on training, more emphasis on transferability. And the good thing is, I think the offshore, the renewables industry as a whole does tick a lot of boxes, I think, for people. You've got the people element, you've got the purpose element, you've got the profit element. that I think people look for in their work these days. And I think it ticks all those boxes. And I think the more we see the effects of climate change, the more inclined people are to commit their careers to this industry. And our job is to try to help facilitate that for them to come in. The other angle that we see it is just from our own perspective. And yeah, finding good people is increasingly difficult. So we just need to be more creative. We're looking at our recruitment strategy all the time. We need to hire another 30 to 40 people in the next 3 months, and then the same again in the first half of next year. So we're having to get really creative. We're having to look in places we didn't look before. So it's a challenge, but it's fun. And I think the people do exist. I think it's just a bit of it's more competitive now. But yeah, we tend to be able to get there because I think, yeah, people are attracted by the purpose of what we do.
Yes. I mean, I've got a couple of clients who got a recruit, and the day before turning up, they said, sorry, I got a better offer somewhere else.
Yes.
They got in the laptop, the mobile.
Oh, that must have been so devastating.
Yeah.
We do see, because I think everybody understands there's so much competition. We are seeing the instances of people taking counter offers, as you say, getting other offers at the last minute. It is becoming more prevalent, but I suppose our role is to try to anticipate those things, be aware of those things, in order that our clients are sort of protected from wasting time, money, and effort on candidates that just aren't going to work in the end. So I also think that in a way, it's a paradox in that it means that we are more needed now that it's difficult, because you need to have more control over process.
Yeah, yeah. What are the attributes you are looking for when you recruit on your clients? What are the key attributes you will be looking for?
In the renewables industry, I think it's very, very, very varied because we recruit such varied roles. So a developer, you want someone who's self-starting and go-getting and happy to venture into the unknown. And then on the other hand, you might have an electrical engineer that's designing electrical systems who needs to be detail-oriented, attention to detail and creative in a way. So it really varies massively, which is what I love. You know, one day you're speaking to one type of person, the next you're speaking to another. When it comes to our own company, I am increasingly in recruitment, as we said earlier, I don't think anybody comes out of university and approaches us to be a recruitment consultant. It's very rare. So when we reach out to people and they come see us, I think what I look for predominantly is good work ethic, smart, and are able to intuitively join dots. They've got that commerciality. And I think if you've got those three things, we can teach you everything else.
Yes, yeah. You could sum that up like an attitude, having a great attitude.
Fantastic attitude. I think it was it Warren Buffett that said that's how he recruits. Work ethic, attitude, and intelligence. As long as they've got those three things, everything else is teachable. And I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Wonderful, excellent. What's been the biggest issue or one of the biggest issues you've had to overcome to date?
Oh goodness, there's a long list of those. I could maybe give you a couple of examples. One was very early on. We almost ran out of money. Lo and behold, so in recruitment, we do permanent recruitment, so retained search, we do permanent contingent, we do contract, and we also now with Brunel do mobility, and we do business intelligence, which is benchmarking. But lo and behold, one of the first placements I made when it was just me and one or two other people was a contractor who was on a really big day rate. So I had to find the money to pay this fella.
Yes.
And then the client, they were announcing their results to the market. So they stopped paying everybody. And this was going into Christmas. So they owed me 3 months worth of pay for this chap. And I was down to my last few £100s in the world going into Christmas. I thought it's all over. But luckily, we just about got through it and they paid just in time and we came out of it. But yeah, cash is king was brought home in spades with that experience. And then the other challenge I've got is just navigating a I think you've got on your board there behind you, personal goals, business goals, trying to maintain, the balance so I've got 12 direct reports and each of them are different. They've each got different motivations. They each joined me at different points in the journey. They've all got different aspirations moving forward with Brunel. So yeah, just trying to balance that and get it right. Take the time to step back, assess before you go into every meeting. Don't rush into meeting after meeting and use this one shoe fits all approach. So that's a big challenge for me, and something I'm hoping I can get better at as I mature.
Yes, I think, was it Jim Rohn that said, work harder on yourself than you work on your business?
Did he say that?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
And
Well,
I think,
interestingly, I'm doing the first stage of my coaching course on Friday and Saturday this week. So I'm really, really looking forward to learning more about coaching.
yeah, wonderful. It's I think you probably heard this, that your business will grow as much as you grow. When you stop
Is that
growing,
right?
yeah, the business stops growing with you, and that will transcend to your team, your leadership team, and everybody else.
Wow.
So yeah,
Interesting.
it is good. So if you started your business again, what
Hmm.
would you do differently?
I'd probably give it a name that began with A, because we're always at the bottom of the
Ulele.
list of the delegate lists.
Yes. Yeah.
I probably wouldn't put my name in the title, to be quite honest. I think that has challenges moving forward. If I started again, I would have more fun.
More fun.
I'd have more fun. I'm not saying we didn't have fun. I've had loads of fun, but I would, I would maybe have not worried so much about things that ended up being things not to worry about. There's a lot of things to worry about starting a business, and I think sometimes one of the criticisms I've always been given from various people is I never stop and smell the roses. I'm always looking ahead. I'm never looking back. I'm never taking stock, because I've got this fear that if you take stock, the grass grows under your feet and you stagnate. And as
Yes.
soon as you start patting yourself on the back, you're in trouble. I
Yeah.
think you need to be focused on the future. You need to always be looking at where can I be better? Where can I improve? But everything in balance. And I think I maybe took that to an extreme. And now and again, you do need to take stock a little bit, have some gratitude for the people around you and where you've got to. And I think that would have helped make things a bit more fun. That's
Yes.
the advice I would give myself.
Yeah, that's a great insight, really. So many people, including myself in the early days as well, we focus on the outcome, not on the process, and enjoying, smelling the flowers along the way,
Yeah,
uh, and,
absolutely.
and who you become in that journey, most importantly, who you become in that journey. Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. And
Yeah.
who your closest colleagues are becoming as well around you. It's
Yeah.
yeah, that would be my advice.
Good.
Deep,
So yeah.
sorry.
So Tom, just wrapping up, do you have any advice for your 18-year-old self?
Yeah, I'd say don't worry, have more patience. You'll get there. Don't be in too much of a rush,
Mhm.
which is to the same theme, I suppose.
Yes. Yeah. Patience is a great virtue.
I think when you're an entrepreneur, I think patience, and especially in recruitment and in sales, patience, a lack of patience can be a benefit in
Yes.
that it brings you to drive things. But I think at the same time, it can create angst and a bit of dissatisfaction sometimes that things aren't going quick enough, that things could be better, things could be faster, things could be different. But yeah, I think I would just say to myself, believe in what you're doing, have some patience, and try and enjoy it along the way. Yeah.
Brilliant. Brilliant. I love it. Now, Tom, do you have any news or events coming up that you would like to share with us watching the recording?
We've got loads of things coming up, but what we are doing is we are going to be attending various graduate fairs, and we're going to be advertising widely for roles that we are recruiting within our business across all our offices in Asia, in Taipei, Seoul, Tokyo, Melbourne, in Europe, in Glasgow, London, Hamburg, Valencia, Madrid, Barcelona, Warsaw, and then in the States, we're also recruiting heavily in Boston, Houston, and we are looking for somebody on the West Coast, wherever it makes sense, Denver, Los Angeles. So that's the biggest thing that's happening with us right now. We are recruiting heavily, and if you've got any inkling of curiosity about what we do and how we do it, then yeah, go on the website and get in touch. We'd be happy to talk you through it.
Brilliant. That sounds very, very exciting. Very exciting indeed. So, Tom, it's been a real pleasure to have you join us today at Spotlight, Business Spotlight series, and for sharing your experience and wisdom with us today. Thank you so much.
Muchas gracias, Javier.
Gracias.
My pleasure.